Hey guys, Stan here. So today I'm talking about two contract extensions the Jets were able to sign just last week with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner got 4 years, 120.4 million, with 85 million of that being guaranteed, while Garrett Wilson got 4 years as well, 130 million, with 90 million of that being guaranteed. Now, these two contracts are very similar, and I think it shows a lot about what the Jets are trying to do with it, right? They're taking their offense and defense and taking their best offensive player, in my opinion, and their second best defensive player after Quinn Williams in terms of importance to the team, in my opinion, and keeping them here for the future. Now, these are also extensions, not just, changing the contract, meaning these are 4 years added on to the years they already had on their contracts. That means both these players, as first round picks, still have 2 years on their rookie contracts, meaning the Jets now get 6 years guaranteed of these two players. Now, this is important for a lot of reasons, but the first thing you have to understand is that in the Jets' history, recent history at least, they have failed to make these sort of easy, obvious sort of re-signings. And I have a list here, 3 guys I looked at in recent memory who the Jets should have re-signed, should have kept around, who were considered stars. At least two of them were considered stars. One of them was considered a superstar when he left. Those are Jamal Adams, Leonard Williams, and Demario Davis. 3 guys who the Jets spent draft capital on, good draft capital on, that you lose the ability to get another player, and then you can't keep them on your team for the long run. Now, think about this. There's a world in which 2 years ago, when Aaron Rodgers walks in, you get Demario Davis, who I believe that year made an all-pro team, definitely made a Pro Bowl team, Leonard Williams, and Jamal Adams. Now, adding those 3 players to the team that Aaron Rodgers would have had if he stayed healthy, the ceiling of that team moves up quite a lot. The Jets being unable to sign players like those and other players, including undrafted free agents like Robbie Anderson at the time, now Robbie Chosen, or Bryce Huff, shows you a lot of why the team has failed. If you cannot keep the guys you spend draft capital on, or the guys with those UDFAs that you've been able to spend so much time developing into being starters, and in the case of Bryce Huff and Robbie Chosen or Robbie Anderson at the time, big players, star players, it's going to be a lot harder for you to build a good team. But I think the biggest reason for why this is important for the Jets is because of what these 2 players represented to the Jets. Now, Sauce Gardner is the one of the 2 who's getting more criticism from people online and people in the media because this 3rd year of his rookie contract was the worst year. Now, that being said, it's hard for me to look at this 3rd year being the worst year and say, yeah, we shouldn't give him the maximum extension. If you look at this 3rd year, he still had an above average, a top 15, top 10 cornerback year in the NFL. I think a lot of the reasons why he struggled this year were because the organization around him was a mess. Look at the coaching staff. Look at how they changed throughout the season and how that would have impacted the player who is now getting a different coach from week 1 to week 8 to week 10 moving forward. This is a stressful environment for a player like Sauce, one who needed coaching. He was struggling with tackling. That's something coaches can fix, and we've seen them fix with other players in the NFL before. Now, Garrett Wilson, on the other hand, has been seen as a top receiver in the league. A lot of people don't put him at the top tier level in like the S or A tier because he just hasn't had, those chances to prove himself in the postseason and in the biggest of games. But for the Jets, he's by far been the best receiver on the team. And if you look at the quarterbacks he's played with, he's arguably had the worst quarterback room in the NFL throughout his few years, especially if you take out that last year when he had Aaron Rodgers. The prior years, he was getting guys like Tim Boyle and Josh Johnson thrown to him, right? He was not getting good quarterback play. I think the other super impressive thing about him that some people are forgetting is he hasn't missed a game. He's been healthy. He's never been injured to where he's had to not play a snap in a game. This means so much. Now, do I expect this to continue? Who knows? Injuries happen in the NFL, and they happen to players you don't expect them to happen to at times. If it happens to Garrett Wilson, I don't think it takes away the value of this contract, but the fact that he hasn't been an injury-plagued receiver in the league so far instills a lot of confidence in me. Now, the final point I want to make is why Garrett Wilson re-signing meant so much to the Jets this offseason. We actually saw Garrett Wilson kind of spar with different members of the team, have some arguments, and we heard some rumors that he was looking into leaving the team because of how the Aaron Rodgers situation went down. Now, the fact that he signs a 4-year extension this early, right? Now he's stuck with the Jets for 6 years. To me, instills confidence because I think he has confidence in Aaron Glenn, in Darren Muji, in the project the Jets are building. Now, did Justin Fields, the guy he played with in college, coming to the team, make a difference in that? Perhaps. But the fact is, Garrett Wilson is smart enough to know that Justin Fields may not be there beyond the next 2 years, which means he had to have confidence in the team to build beyond Justin Fields, right? To continue getting a good O-line, to get another quarterback if Justin Fields doesn't work out. This to me is the biggest part of why these two signings are such a success for the Jets. All in all, time will tell how it turns out, but I'm fairly confident, fairly optimistic that the Jets can build off this moving forward. Now, the Jets do have some other young guys who should be re-signed or will be eligible at least for re-signing soon. Jermaine Johnson, who is coming off a big injury, missed most of last season, is the biggest name people are talking about. But AVT Elijah Vera Tucker, a big part of our O-line, is the other one. Now, both of those players have big injury concerns. Obviously, we just talked about how Jermaine Johnson missed most of last season. AVT himself has missed games every single season. He hasn't stayed the most healthy. He's been injured, I think, twice in the Denver Broncos stadium specifically, right? So there's a lot of issues with AVT because of those injuries that might make it harder for the Jets to want to re-sign him. But either way, they got their two biggest signings done from that one draft class right here this year. Now, as Jermaine Johnson is looking closer towards the end of his contract, now both these players still have a little bit of time to prove it to the Jets. In my opinion, I expect these signings to be mid-year signings. If things are going great, that's when teams like to make moves like that. But if things aren't going too great, expect these moves to come in next offseason. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for watching to the video. Comment down below what you think will happen from these two signings and go do something nice for someone else. Bye-bye.